Have you ever hit that point in life where everything feels uncertain? Like one chapter has clearly ended, but the next one hasn't revealed itself. Maybe something you used to love suddenly feels foreign, or maybe life just doesn't fit the same way it used to. It's that strange in between, the space between identities where you can feel that something has shifted, but you can't yet name where you're going. And that can be super disorienting because you want to trust where you're being led, but parts of you feels disconnected from your intuition, your direction, and maybe even yourself. You keep trying to tune in, but nothing is clear. You journal, you pray, and it still feels like the next step is completely foggy. If you've been there or you're there right now, I want you to take a deep breath with me. Today, I want to talk about what it really means to trust yourself again during big transitions, breakups, divorce, career pivots, or simply that quiet whisper that says, this chapter is over, even if I don't know what's next. Because clarity doesn't always come first. Sometimes trust and awareness have to come before the map. So let's slow down together and get into it. When life shifts, whether by choice or circumstance, the version of you that used to know how to do life almost disappears overnight. The routines, the relationships, the ways you used to define yourself, all of it starts to dissolve. And suddenly you catch yourself thinking, who am I right now? Now, if you're going through a breakup, maybe your morning feels different. Even the silence in your home feels loud. If you pivoted in your career, maybe you wake up without that spark you once had. It feels like the frame that used to hold your life together has come apart. And this is the part that no one talks about often enough. When your external identity starts dissolving, it can look like you're falling apart, but on a soul level, something deeper is trying to integrate. And most people panic in this phase. They say, if I don't know what's next, maybe I can't trust myself anymore. But what is really happening is an inner rewiring. You're moving from logic-based living into intuitive living. You're learning to make choices not from who you used to be, but from who you're becoming. And that's why this phase feels so unsteady, because you're being asked to build new roots and ground you've never stood on before. When uncertainty sets in, most of us do what we've been trained to do. We look outside of ourselves for answers. Another podcast, another book, another coach, another opinion. And guidance is beautiful when it inspires you, but it becomes counterproductive when it overrides your own knowing. Think of it like this. If you open 10 tabs in your browser trying to find the right path, pretty soon the system slows down. The same thing happens with your energy. The more noise you add, the harder it is for you to hear your inner guidance. So if you're struggling to make decisions or feel confident right now, remember that your nervous system might just be recalibrating. You're not supposed to have it all figured out. This isn't a failure of direction. It's the part of the journey where your intuition is learning a new language, and that takes presence, not pressure. So how do you rebuild that trust, especially when you don't yet have that clarity? Let's talk about a few practices that help you reteach your body and mind that you are safe to lead your own life again. Number 1, small promises kept. Self-trust isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in micro moments of integrity. You don't need to overhaul your life. Just choose one tiny thing that communicates safety and reliability to your nervous system. Whether that be drink the water you said you drink, move your body for 10 minutes, call the friend you've been thinking about. Each time you follow through, your inner voice grows stronger. Self-trust is less about what you know and more about what you honor. Number 2, listen without labeling. Instead of attacking your confusion with analysis, try curiosity. Some mornings, sit quietly and ask your body, what do you need today? Maybe the answer is rest, maybe it's play, maybe it's simply not pushing. Your intuition already speaks, but often it whispers through sensation, not words. The flutter in your belly, the spark of excitement, the tension in your chest when something feels off. Those little signals are maps. Stop labeling feelings as wrong or inconvenient and start treating them as guidance and messengers. Number 3, stop outsourcing your compass. There's a difference between wisdom and validation. When you spend too much time checking what others think you should do, you dilute your own power. So try this. Before you seek advice, take 2 minutes to write what you would do if fear wasn't making the decision. Often you already know your answer. You just need permission to trust it. Number 4, define clarity as connection. We've all been taught to chase clarity before action, but clarity doesn't come from stillness. It comes from engagement. When you act from alignment, even small steps, life meets you with feedback. So don't wait for the 5-year plan. Start with the one next true step, the next call, the next aligned yes. Every time you follow that thread, the path starts to unfold. Rebuilding self-trust isn't just a mental exercise, it's physiological. Your body has to learn that safety exists again, even in uncertainty. So here are a few small embodiment rituals that help anchor that inner trust. Ground daily, barefoot on the earth, or simply feeling your feet pressing into the floor as you breathe. You can also practice hand on heart breathing, placing your hand over your heart, breathe deeply, and say to yourself, I'm safe to be me, even here. And then you can also create silence. Once a day, turn off all input, no music, no voices, and just notice your internal rhythm. It's hard to hear your inner compass when everything outside is louder than your soul. Now, these aren't quick fixes. They're ways to returning to coherence where your intuition can actually be received. And over time, you'll start feeling the difference between fear and truth. Fear feels urgent and tight. Truth feels grounded, even when it asks you to take a leap. I really believe that this foggy space between chapters is a sacred space. It's not punishment, it's an invitation. It's life saying, you don't need the old map anymore. You're learning to navigate by feeling now. Sometimes we think the universe goes quiet because we've done something wrong, but often it's because we're being invited to listen differently. So instead of asking, when will I know? I want you to ask yourself, what is this experience trying to teach me about my strengths, my patience, my faith, and myself? Because trusting the next chapter isn't about predicting the ending, it's about remembering who's holding the pen to your own story. If this is the season you're in, the in-between, I want you to know you're not behind. You're exactly where transformation happens, in that invisible space between the old identity and the new one. Everyone who's ever redesigned their life has stood here, right here with you, learning how to walk by intuition instead of certainty. So in the comments, I'd love for you to share one small way you're learning to trust yourself again, even if it's as simple as listening to your gut once a day. And if you want to go deeper, you can connect with me privately by clicking on the link in the description box. Thank you so much for being here and for showing up for your next chapter, even before the clarity comes. I'll see you in the next one.